Hello and hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing? I've been itching to watch this video for a while now. Why there's almost no Google Street View in Germany. Interesting. I did not know that. I assume it has something to do with like privacy concerns. I know that on Google Street View, you can send in a request like, hey, blur out my house. But it's very uncommon here in America. You can pretty much just travel down the Street View and see anything you like. And that's something I really respect about the Germans. You folk, you guys value your privacy, both financial privacy and online privacy, I think. I think that's what this, I mean, maybe there's a totally different reason. That's part of the reason I'm itching to watch this video. I need to know, why is there almost no Google Street View in Germany? Oh, it's by Cheddar. Did I say that? By Cheddar. Link down below. Check them out. Great channel. Small and up-and-coming channel. They don't even have 1 million subscribers, guys. Small and up-and-coming. Just kidding.
Man, and go on a trip. How about Europe? Oh wait, you see that big white spot? It's not a glitch. It's Germany.
Google Street View is practically non-existent.
Oh, the whole country is opted out?
There.
And it's not for Google's lack of trying.
Okay. Now I need to try it myself. Hold on. Actually, let me pause. All right, let's travel all the way from over here in the US to Germany. Take our little dude. I mean, it looks like I could drop him down. Hey, I'm in here. Am I in Germany? Topferk Market. Let me zoom in. Let's try and go inside Frankfurt. What the heck? Maybe it's just like residential areas? Maybe this changed recently. Does satellite work? Yeah, I can see all your houses. Okay.
In fact, they've tried to launch Street View in Germany twice.
But both
I guess third time was the charm.
times, they didn't succeed.
Google is a major corporation that has implemented
You
Street
don't
View
say.
in
What's it called? Google?
almost every country around the world. There are 10 million miles of Street View imagery and 36 million square miles of Google Earth imagery. And Google says it covers 98% of the places in the world where
Just not North Korea and Germany.
people live. And Street View has a lot of benefits. It can help you find what the outside of a building you're looking for looks like, or let you see what famous cities look like on the ground.
So that begs the question, why is Germany uncharted?
Well, now I know it is charted, but now I'm wondering, why was it not? This is sort of interesting.
In 2001, Google sponsored a Stanford University research project called the Stanford City Block. The students aimed to document their university and parts of San Francisco in clickable 3D format. The research project ended in 2006 when Google decided to turn it into Street View. Street View officially launched in 2007. The next year, Google merged Street View.
I remember this. This was kind of like mind-blowing when it first came out. Like, whoa. We are in the future, folks. You can freaking drive down my own road virtually.
And Google Maps, and introduced Pegman as the primary user interface.
Pegman.
Over the
Actually, I remember when satellite imagery became really common. That was also like, holy crap, this is creepy.
next few years, little Google-branded cars with big cameras blazed the way for Street View to expand across the globe at around 1 million miles a year.
But when those cars tried to get into Germany, they were turned away. Germany wasn't having it.
To figure out why, we have to look at Germany.
I like that. Hey, maybe, hold on, let's think about it for a couple years. You know, come back later. We'll let you know if we want your little cameras on your cars. mapping out every little square inch of the country.
Germans' relationship with their own privacy. Germany passed the world's first data protection law in 1970.
It was
The
revolutionary
world's first.
in that sphere, and it set the stage for Germany's attitude towards data sharing.
The court ended up ruling that German citizens had the right to informational self-determination and to be able to block the sharing of personal information with any government agency.
Wow.
And these precedents meant that in 2010, the German Federal
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool, guys.
Constitutional Court overturned a law that allowed authorities to store phone and email data for 6 months for security reasons. The judge called this a grave intrusion of personal privacy rights.
Finding a new career can be an exciting
Atmosphere of privacy protection didn't come out of nowhere.
During the Nazi regime, the state's secret police force called the Gestapo effectively eliminated a right to privacy, and citizens could be branded as criminals for private thoughts or acts, resulting in severe punishment. 80% of all Gestapo investigations were brought on by denunciation.
I love that. You know, I love that you guys said never again. And what I really like is, over here, there's this really weird attitude sometimes about privacy where it's like, well, if you've got nothing to hide, then what are you afraid of? Just share everything with every corporation and every government. What do you have to hide? If you haven't done anything wrong. It's like, well, what if in the future at some point some idiot comes to power and decides something is wrong that we don't agree with? Then you might wish the government didn't have all that power. Maybe, just in theory. Could happen.
By ordinary German citizens who were informing on their family members and neighbors.
That resulted in
And maybe everybody does have a little, some things they do prefer to keep a little bit private to themselves. Maybe not everything about everybody's life is just inherently, hey, I just need to share every aspect of my life with the government and with every corporation. Maybe that's just weird.
in the very first article of then West Germany's post-war constitution.
Human dignity shall be inviolable. To respect and protect it shall be the duty of all state authority. But in East Germany, the secret police, or Stasi, reigned over personal privacy. They contracted an estimated 190,000 part-time secret informants and employed an additional 90,000 officers full-time. In total, that's about 1 in every 50 adult East Germans as of 1990. They tapped phones, read correspondence, and jailed and tortured people based on this information. One man, Roland Brockmann, was jailed for 15 months in 1982 because he printed flyers for a Protestant church and the anti-nuclear movement. German citizens...
My point. Yeah. People blow my mind with that sentiment over here. What do you have to hide? Does your imagination just not work? It can't, like, go into the future, just one dystopian step down into the future where maybe you don't want all the government listening to every phone call you make? You know, what happens when someone comes into power that doesn't like what you're saying? Should you just, oh, well, I guess we can't talk about it anymore, guys. They're listening in.
were called not daring to voice their thoughts, even to their spouses,
Wow.
best friends, or pastors, for fear of disappearing into the penal system.
That history has led to a distrust of people having your personal information.
For example, in 2016, 80% of all point-of-sale transactions, meaning in-person sales, like grocery shopping or buying a shirt at a store, were made in cash rather than a credit card. In comparison, in the Netherlands, only 46% of these transactions were in cash.
So in August of 2000,
And that's why you guys use cash so much. It's pretty wild. Pretty cool. See, Americans don't have any concept for trying to protect their own privacy.
when Google
Nobody uses cash.
announced it was going to map Germany's 20 biggest cities, Germans were not thrilled.
The idea that pictures of their houses and streets were going to be publicly available was just intolerable. Some of Google's camera cars were vandalized. A 70-year-old man threatened a Google driver with a garden pick. 3% of households in those areas requested their houses to be blurred out. This is what it looked like on Street View.
Wow.
That's an unprecedented level of resistance that Google just hadn't faced before.
So they published the data that they had already collected, but left it at that. They haven't taken any new Street View images in Germany or Austria since then. In contrast, only 200 Brits asked for their houses to be blurred.
Wow,
Just
200.
0.00003% of the population.
And then
What a stark difference. That's pretty fascinating.
it got worse.
In May 2010, it was revealed that Google had used data from unencrypted Wi-Fi connections when collating its roadside pictures. Elise Agner, Germany's
They weren't fully transparent and honest?
Minister for Consumer Protection at the time called Street View a comprehensive photo offensive and a million-fold violation of the private sphere. She also said there is not a secret service in existence that would collect photos so unabashedly.
When the Google Streetcar was moving through streets to collect visual data for creating the maps, they were actually collecting all this data from the different households.
The authorities fined Google $189,225, almost the maximum amount they can fine corporations.
Sadly, that's beyond inconsequential for Google, but, you know, I guess that was the maximum amount.
$195,000. The man in charge of the investigations, data protection supervisor Johannes Kasper, said that he didn't charge them the full amount because Google eventually gave him a copy of the German data they had collected.
To a lot of Germans, that was a slap in the face.
Yeah. I was going to say, what? Isn't that exactly, like, part of the problem?
$189,225 is roughly 0.002% of Google's $10.7 billion net profit, or what Google made every 2 minutes that year.
Man, imagine being that profitable every 2 minutes. Jesus.
Academics, activists, and even regulators themselves say fines that are pocket change for big companies do little to deter them from misbehaving again, and are just baked into the cost of doing business.
When Google announced in 2017 that they were going to try again, another full 3% of German households opted to have their houses blurred out.
Google also promised that they'd only hold the unblurred footage of license plates and houses for a short period of time, but they haven't made any progress since then.
While it may seem like the effort may be more than it's worth to get Street View into Germany, that's not quite the case. People's use of Street View lets Google accumulate lots of information, allowing them to tailor ads to each person. The more times each person clicks on an ad, the more...
I bet you if everybody understood, and probably no one even does unless you are deep inside Google, if everybody understood exactly how creepily they use all that data and how much they can figure out about any like individual, they probably would opt out.
money Google makes, so it makes sense as to why they want those ads to be as clickable as possible.
And one of the big differences we see in Europe and the US is the opt-in, opt-out policy. So in Europe, you're not allowed to collect data without allowing the user to actively opt in into having that data collected, whether it's an email or a telephone number when you subscribe to a list. Well, in the US, in a lot of these cases, it was an automatic collection, and then you can opt out, but that data was already collected.
Yeah, you got to find the tiny little link at the bottom of the email. Oh, do you want to opt out? Yeah, you should have to. How about you have to opt in the first place? Makes sense.
Collected.
Is Germany being overly cautious about Street View? Some experts say yes, and some say no.
Some experts say yes. Some experts say yes. Why should you care about your privacy? I don't even know what that means. What are they an expert in?
But Germany's caution is understandable after their political history, especially when large companies have few checks on their power and a lot of information. But a majority of Germans still have accounts with these internet companies, and younger Germans are less concerned than their elders, according to the New York Times.
That's what sucks, is it seems to just be diminished over generations. You know what I mean? generation after generation seems to care less about whether or not Big Brother is watching you, whether it's the government or Google.
Times.
But while people are easing up, governing agencies are becoming more strict.
The EU slapped Google with one of the top 5 biggest fines ever, $5 billion for forcing smartphone manufacturers using the Android operating system to pre-install Google browser apps on their phones. If they refused, they were denied access to Google's App Store and streaming services.
It's, in a word, problematic.
But with the introduction of bigger fines, it's possible that they'll make a big enough dent in companies' budgets to make a difference. But Street View's issues already exist, and data is already out there.
As other mapping engines make their own Street View equivalents, it's worth wondering where our information is stored and what these companies are doing to protect it. Comment down below what you think of data.
They're pasting it online for free for everybody to look at. Also, isn't it creepy? It's like, guys, don't worry. This data we're collecting on you guys, we're storing it very securely. It's like, okay, but who are you? Like, you're securing it. I didn't want you to have it. What do you mean you're securing my data? Don't worry. I'm worried you have it. All right. Well, that was fascinating. I'm definitely going to look more into like Germany's attitude toward privacy, because I really respect that about you guys. It's really cool. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.